This one's going to be a quick review for me. I saw this movie. I hadn't actually heard of it, but I was interested when I read the log line of this movie. It is American Symphony. This follows musician Jon Batiste, a musician that I quite like, but I will admit I haven't engaged much with his work. Though what I have engaged with, I find quite compelling. I know him actually best as the musical band leader for Colbert's late night talk show when he was in that role. I've seen his YouTube clips of him doing like on Colbert's show, like What a Wonderful World. I think he's such a talented, beautiful uh artist. And so when I read this premise of musician John Batiste as he sets out to compose a symphony, and then his partner, author Suleika, learns that her cancer is back. This documentary follows that as he has to balance both of them and it follows their relationship. I found that a really compelling topic for a documentary to be about. And here's what I really enjoyed about this movie: John Batista's music. I mean, there are some really beautiful sequences of this movie of him just playing piano or him performing. It is a concert film at its best when it is doing stuff like that. Like when they bring in that concert element of this, I really enjoyed it. And then when they're focusing also on this relationship between these two people going through tragedy, it's a really just heart wrenching, beautiful portrait of a relationship trying to get through something and how they get through this. And it's really sad. It's really poignantly beautiful. And it does what John Batiste does best as an artist, which I think is he's such a he brings out the emotion in all of his art, and you can really feel not only the craft of it, but you can also see him bringing himself into it. And that's what he does with this documentary. Now this documentary is directed by Matthew Heineman. He's directed other films. I've seen some of them actually. A Private War, Cartel Land. He is this really incredible director. I think American Symphony misses the mark in some of it, where it can just kind of feel like this character of John Batiste and his wife in this movie are kind of hitting beats, and it becomes very like, I wouldn't call it brand management. I think that's the wrong way to approach a movie, especially with the subject matter of it. But it does kind of feel like at times the camera just cuts to John Batiste as he gives this kind of like monologue that feels very prepared. What I'm trying to say is this film doesn't always feel authentic, which is a bizarre thing when I think John Batiste's biggest strength as a musician and artist is that his music always feels so authentic and lived in. So there are moments of that where you're getting the actual behind the scenes look of it, where you're just kind of sitting with the Batiste character, and it feels very orchestrated. It feels very staged in a way that I just didn't really come away liking in this movie. But what this film then makes up for is, again, when you're seeing these two characters go through this, it does feel extremely intimate. It does feel extremely just like personal, and like you don't want to be there because you feel like you're intruding. That's the magic of American Symphony when it works best. And it works best when it's focusing on these two. And then when we're in these music scenes with Batiste, there's actually one really incredible sequence where you're cutting between Batiste playing uh I believe it's the piano, and then it's cutting between him and then his wife going through a situation in this film with her leukemia. And it's pretty just like incredibly moving. There are scenes of that in this movie that, like I said, that's when this film is just like soaring for me, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. Overall, though, this is a recommendation for me. Do believe there is a lot to really enjoy about this movie. I just wish they had a little bit different approach to some of the interviews of this movie, because that took away a lot of the authenticity of this movie and made it feel a bit stagey, which, when, like I said, when you have an artist like John Batiste, I didn't necessarily appreciate. And I think it took away kind of Batiste's greatest strength. Like I said, though, overall, really enjoyed this movie. Can recommend it. Check it out. It's now streaming on Netflix. And I'm giving it 3 out of 5 stars here on my channel. And guys, if you liked this video, which if you're listening this far, I hope you did, I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of this calendar year. So please If you like this video, like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be having a lot more reviews coming out in the month of December. Take care and bye bye.